Hello guys, it is me, the Tank Index here, and today we're going to be talking about the abomination that is the Shuman Superdreadnought. And while you've already probably seen it from the thumbnail, before I talk about this abomination, I'd first like to talk about the man, the myth, the maniac himself, Frank Shuman. He was born in 1862 during the Civil War and was actually a respected engineer. Popular Science magazine described his invention as a distinguished and this inventor as a distinguished and famous engineer in 1916 when describing his ludicrous design. So it was probably a bad time to actually, say how cool his talents were. He converted his entire solar power plant found in Egypt into scrap for the war effort. In general, he actually did a lot of things to sort of pioneer solar energy, which is very interesting. He died in 1918 and thankfully never had his design realized. But now with that out of the way, let's get into the design itself. So the only weapon so let's just start with these statistics. It was able to climb 50-foot tall hills with ease. It was supposed to be able to go 100 miles an hour, though I'd be surprised if that was even possible. It weighed 5,000 tons, not 100,000. 5,000 tons. This picture here literally shows it crushing a village. And it doesn't have any weapon. Its weapon is itself being able to literally roll over towns. It would have massive chains seen here that would basically crush everything in its path. It would have a 30-man crew, which was likely a bunch of observation points, probably armed with telescopes with how high it was. And they would have to enter and exit via lifts. Yeah. It was so large, to avoid it literally crumbling, it had to have 3-foot large shock absorbers. It would have 3 150 to 200 foot tall unarmored wheels that would be 20 feet wide. As seen here, it could probably ford a river with ease. It would have armor ranging wildly from place to place, though none on the wheels. And it was described similar to a battlecruiser. For context, the Lexington class battlecruiser at the time had armor ranging from 175 to 250 millimeters. So it would probably have 200 millimeter armor, which, yeah, only 200 millimeter armor all over it. Obviously other than the weight, there are a lot of non-obvious problems with the design. Other than the meter's size and weight, power is an issue. The engines were described as toned-down oil-fired steam turbines, which engineers would literally have to tone down from a battleship. Even if it had 20,000 horsepower, an insane amount, it would only be 4 horsepower per ton, which is a ridiculously low power to weight ratio, especially for 100 miles an hour. The reason the wheels were unarmored was because it was supposed to be a fast vehicle, yet the main hull has insanely heavy armor, which kind of defeats the point of it being fast. If anything, I just leave the hull unarmored. Honestly, what are you going to do to the hull? Like, let's say it pierces the armor. Like, as long as it doesn't hit the engines, who cares? Like, that tiny hole, it's literally irrelevant with how high and big it is. The next question is, how would they transport it to the front? It's literally too big to transport on anything and would literally crush allied infrastructure, land, or people. You'd have to have like 5,000 different pieces of this thing and then assemble it there. That's why in this original depiction that's in the magazine, it's crushing an American town, not a European one. Because you'd have to crush your own town to get there. And then we have the flaw in logic. Shuman basically thought that wheels were superior because they could move over anything faster. Basically at the time they had the big wheel theory, that big wheel good. The problem was that wheels pushed the dirt in front of them as seen here. So it would basically make an obvious obstacle for new forward movement to overcome. So eventually it would make so much dirt in front of it that it would literally get stuck and couldn't go anywhere. Tracks don't have this problem. So for this theoretical design, tracks would serve it better. So this just makes it even more ridiculous. On to the final assessments. Obviously, this design is totally ridiculous in every which way. There is no part of this design that is logical. Despite what the magazine states, and the magazine for some reason describes it as the weapon of the future, magazines, am I right? Everyone at the time could see that it was ridiculous as well. No one took this thing seriously. A 5,000 ton vehicle that would literally run over land was a complete waste of resources and money. Not only this, it would be impossible to power for very long. You'd have to divert so many resources to this thing, especially fuel. And where would it be kept? Nowhere. It would sink into the dirt and crack floors. You literally couldn't even keep it anywhere. It'd be like a Tsar tank, but worse. Not to mention, it couldn't even be transported, as it would destroy allied material. If it was made, yeah, it couldn't be destroyed for a long, long time. But it would also destroy everything and get stuck. So, that didn't really mean much. And yeah, that's basically the end of this video. Next time, we will be moving on to Italian tanks, which is a video I'm actually pretty excited about. But yeah, until then, hope you enjoyed the video. And this is the Tank Index out. Peace.